Before we get started, I want to ask you to subscribe to my channel for more real-life stories like this. And if this story hits home, please share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. I laughed when I saw his face. I shouldn't have. But the absurdity of it, him, standing there, disbelief written across his features, like the universe had just played a cruel joke, made me chuckle. "It's not yours," I said, trying to soften the blow with a half smile, but it didn't reach my eyes. I didn't know then that this laugh, that tiny reaction, would haunt me forever. It started months before in whispers and half-truths. Small things I brushed off. Late nights at work, a phone tucked out of sight, laughter that didn't reach his eyes. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I was imagining things. Maybe I was too sensitive. Jealousy, insecurity, overthinking. I told myself that over and over. But the signs kept coming. There were the missed calls he insisted were important work calls but never explained. Notes on his desk I wasn't meant to see. And the way he smiled at me sometimes, but not really at me, like he was holding back a secret that weighed too much to speak aloud. I tried to ignore it, bury it under the routine of life, under the responsibilities of parenthood. Our daughter was growing fast, and I told myself, this is enough. This is family. Yet every time I held her, the thought nagged at me. Does she really belong to me? I didn't know the answer until that day. I had come home early from work, hoping to surprise him, maybe ease some of the tension that had been building silently between us. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I called his name, no reply. Then I noticed the stack of papers on the kitchen counter. A paternity test, unfolded and trembling slightly under the edge of a cookbook. I froze. My heart raced. My hand shook as I picked it up. And there it was, the results. My worst fears, crystallized in black and white. I wasn't her father. She wasn't mine. He appeared then, behind me, shoulders slumping, eyes wide with something between fear and sorrow. I was going to tell you," he said, voice barely audible. I didn't know how. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Not because it was funny, God, no, it was because the truth was so raw, so painful, that my body betrayed me in the only way it knew how. He flinched at the sound, and that made me feel even worse. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hate him and myself in the same breath. I laughed, I admitted, my voice trembling. I laughed because I didn't know how else to react. He said nothing, just looked at me. And then, without another word, he walked away. He didn't argue. He didn't plead. He left. In the weeks that followed, I replayed everything we'd shared. Every laugh, every kiss, every late-night conversation. Every memory now felt tinged with deception. How many of those moments were real? How many were built on a lie? The realization hurt more than I could put into words. I questioned myself first, my judgment, my perception, my ability to trust. Then I questioned him, the man I had loved with everything I had. Slowly, suspicion became certainty, and certainty became heartbreak. Yet even in the darkest moments, I couldn't deny the love I felt for her, the little girl who called me daddy without hesitation. She was innocent, unknowing, and I clung to her as a tether to the life that remained intact. We talked eventually, in fits and starts. He tried to explain, to offer his side. Guilt weighed heavy on him. He confessed that he never intended for this to happen, that the affair, brief and thoughtless, had consequences he hadn't imagined. He wanted me to understand, to forgive, to find some shred of compassion for him. I listened. I felt. But forgiveness didn't come easily, and I realized it might never come fully. I had a choice to make, to let this betrayal define me, or to rise above it. The decision was slow, painful, and lonely. Some days, I stumbled, overwhelmed by anger and grief. Other days, I found strength in small victories. A bedtime story, a shared laugh with my daughter, a moment of clarity when I realized I could still love without losing myself. Months later, he tried to reconnect, to bridge the chasm he had created. I saw the remorse in his eyes, the longing, the understanding of what he had destroyed. But the walk away, the one that night, the one that changed everything, had already carved a permanent boundary. Some doors, once closed, cannot be reopened. I don't hate him. Not really. I pity him, maybe. I feel sadness for the man who let a moment of weakness ruin a lifetime. But I also feel pride for surviving, for loving fiercely even in the aftermath, for protecting the little girl who didn't ask for any of this. Life is slower now, quieter, but it's mine. And while the pain lingers, so does the clarity. I've learned that trust, once broken, can shape you in unexpected ways. That love is not possession, it's protection. And that laughter, even in heartbreak, is sometimes the only way to survive.